Hey fam, big thanks for the love and support. Just keeping it real. While I work hard to bring solid NHL predictions, remember, the game's unpredictable. My picks are here to guide you, but always trust your gut and do your own research. It's your money and your call. Keep the vibe positive, enjoy the game, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and donate if you can. All right, let's dive into today's NHL predictions. Today we have predictions for 3 NHL games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and Dallas Stars. This one's shaping up to be a barn burner, no doubt about it. The Toronto Maple Leafs are rolling into Dallas to face the Stars, and I've got a good feeling we're in for some fireworks on the ice. Both squads have been hot this season, with Toronto sitting at 19-10-2 and leading the Atlantic, while Dallas boasts a 19-11-0 record, holding steady in third in the Central. These teams are built to compete, and this matchup has all the ingredients for a thriller. Let's talk about Toronto first. They're coming off a gutsy 5-3 win over Buffalo where John Tavares absolutely stole the spotlight. The captain notched a hattie, and it wasn't just flashy, it was clutch. They battled back from being down 2-0, showing they've got the heart to dig deep when it counts. That top line of Matthews, Marner, and Nylander? It's pure dynamite. Matthews continues to be the sniper we know and love. Marner's dishing dimes left and right, and Nylander leads the team in goals. These guys don't just score, they dominate. And in net, Joseph has been rock solid, with numbers that put him in elite company this season. His .918 save percentage and 2.15 goals against average give Toronto confidence between the pipes. Now, the Stars aren't going to roll over, especially not in their own barn. They just took care of business against the Caps with a 3-1 win, and Jake Oettinger, he's been a wall. Oettinger's been lights out lately, giving up just 2 goals on his last 42 shots. That's the kind of goaltending that can steal games. Up front, they've got a balanced attack led by Hintz, Robertson, and Johnston, plus Matt Duchene playing like he's got something to prove. Duchene's been racking up points all season, and Mason Marchment is right there with him, keeping defenses honest. Here's the kicker. Dallas has been a fortress at home. They've dropped just one of their last 7 in their barn, and even that was against a scrappy Nashville team. Toronto, on the other hand, has been hit or miss on the road. They've lost 3 of their last 5 away games, and while they managed to squeak past New Jersey in overtime, it wasn't exactly dominant. When these two met last February, it was a high-flying 5-4 shootout win for Toronto. Something tells me we could see another offensive explosion here. Both teams have the firepower, and while Dallas has played some tight, low-scoring games recently, they've also got a knack for overs after a string of unders. It's just one of those quirky trends, but hard to ignore. So, how's this one going to shake out? I think we're in for a fast-paced, end-to-end kind of game. Toronto's offense is clicking, and Dallas isn't going to sit back and let them dictate the tempo. The Stars have the edge at home, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them come away with at least a point in regulation. That said, my money's on this one going over 5. Both teams are stacked with talent, and neither is afraid to let it rip when the opportunity presents itself. Sit back and enjoy, it's going to be a good one. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The second prediction for today is for a game between the Florida Panthers and Minnesota Wild. Alright, folks, let's dive into this intriguing matchup between the Florida Panthers and Minnesota Wild. The Panthers are wrapping up a grueling 5-game road trip, and you can tell the wear and tear is starting to show. With a 2-2 record on the swing, they've been hit or miss, and while they managed an explosive 6-5 win over the Oilers last time out, that kind of high-flying game feels more like an exception than the norm right now. Fatigue is creeping in, and when you're playing against a squad like Minnesota, that's a dangerous place to be. Florida's got some big guns up front, no doubt. Sam Reinhart's been lighting the lamp consistently with 20 goals and 21 assists, and Carter Verhaeghe, Matthew Tkachuk, and Sam Bennett give them a solid secondary punch. But here's the thing, this team has struggled against teams that can lock it down defensively. Look at their recent games against Vancouver and Calgary, where they got blanked. That doesn't exactly inspire confidence when they're going up against one of the stingiest defensive units in the league. Now let's talk about the Wild. They've been solid all season, sitting at 27-4, and while their recent 2-3 skid might look shaky, they've got a knack for bouncing back. At home, with 2 days of rest, they're practically a fortress. They're not just relying on their D game either. Kirill Kaprizov is an absolute sniper out there, leading the team with 22 goals and 25 assists. The guy just knows how to put the puck in the net when it matters. Add in Marco Rossi and Matt Zuccarello on the top line, and you've got a trio that can make life miserable for opposing goalies. The secondary scoring for the Wild is no slouch either. Matt Boldy's having a stellar season, and Marcus Johansson brings some solid playmaking to the table. They've also got Brock Faber chipping in from the blue line, which adds another layer to their attack. When you pair that kind of depth with their defensive structure, it's no wonder they're sitting near the top of the league in goals against per game. Between the pipes, the Wild will lean on Marc-Andre Fleury for this one. Gustafsson's out sick, but Fleury's got the experience and the swagger to handle a Panthers squad that's been inconsistent. On the other side, Sergei Bobrovsky is expected to get the nod for Florida, but let's be real, Bob hasn't looked sharp lately. He's given up 9 goals on 49 shots in his last 2 outings. That's not exactly the kind of performance you want heading into a game against a team that knows how to grind out wins. History's on Minnesota's side here too. They've taken the last 3 meetings against Florida, including a 5-1 drubbing earlier this season. The Panthers just haven't found an answer for the Wild's defensive structure, and with this being the 5th game of Florida's road trip, I don't see that changing tonight. If you're looking for fireworks, this might not be the game for you. The Wild know how to shut things down, and Florida's scoring has been all over the place lately. I'm leaning toward a low-scoring game. Under 5.5 seems like a solid play, but my gut says the Wild take this one. They're rested, they're at home, and they've got the edge in every key area. I'm putting my bet on Minnesota to come out on top on the money line. Let's see if they can keep that head-to-head streak alive. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Vancouver Canucks and Utah Hockey. The Vancouver Canucks roll into this matchup with a lot to prove, and honestly, I like their chances. They've been a solid road team all season, rocking a 10-1 record away from home, and that kind of road warrior mentality is exactly what you want to see going into a game against a Utah Hockey Club squad that's had its fair share of struggles on home ice. With Utah sitting at 4-5-3 at home, you have to wonder if they can hold their ground against a Canucks team that thrives under pressure. Vancouver's offense has been a treat to watch. Quinn Hughes is running the show from the blue line, stacking up 35 points with some serious precision, and the forwards are buzzing. Elias Pettersson is in top form, playing like a guy who's always a step ahead. He's been a powerhouse on the power play, but he's not alone. Connor Garland and Jake DeBrusk have been putting in work too, combining speed and skill to keep defenses on their heels. Even the third line, led by Pius Suter, has been cashing in when it counts. This is the kind of depth that makes the Canucks so dangerous. Now, defensively, it hasn't always been pretty. They've given up their fair share of chances, but guys like Hughes and Tyler Myers have been stepping up, forcing turnovers, and making life a little easier for the man between the pipes. Speaking of, Thatcher Demko should be in the net, and while his numbers this season haven't exactly sparkled, I've got faith. He looked sharp in his last outing, turning aside 30 of 31 shots, and if he can find that groove again, Vancouver's defense might just hold strong. On the flip side, Utah's been a mixed bag. They've got firepower, no doubt about it. Dylan Bunter is tearing it up this season, leading the team in points, and he's got help. Clayton Keller and Logan Cooley are big-time playmakers, and when they're rolling, Utah's offense can really hum. But let's be real, they've been shaky at home, and that's not the kind of vibe you want against a team like Vancouver. The X-factor for Utah is Karel Vejmelka in goal. His numbers have been stellar, with a .915 save percentage and a 2.40 goals against average. He's been a steady presence for them, but here's the kicker. He's struggled big time against the Canucks. We're talking a 5.08 goals against average in his career against Vancouver. That's a glaring statistic that could tilt this matchup. This game has all the makings of a barn burner. Both teams have the offensive tools to light the lamp, and I wouldn't be shocked if it turns into a track meet. Vancouver's quick transitions and Utah's ability to create scoring chances off the cycle should keep things interesting. But when it's all said and done, I'm putting my money on the Canucks. Their road game is just too strong, and with the way their top guys are playing, I think they've got the edge. I'll take Vancouver on the money line. They've got the depth, the firepower, and the road mojo to get the job done. It won't be easy, Utah's no pushover, but I believe the Canucks will find a way to grind out the win. Buckle up, this one's going to be a beauty.